All right, it is April 15th, and I feel like it is just starting to feel like spring. So if it feels like I'm behind on all the spring picks, the spring this, the spring that, listen, y'all, it hasn't been spring here. We just had like snow flurries the other day. But now that it's been somewhat consistently warmer, we haven't had snow piling up, I feel like it's finally time to sit down and talk about some spring eyeshadow palettes. If you are like me and you love seeing all the eyeshadow picks, I hope you enjoy this one. I know that this is one of my favorite videos to watch. I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you are here to find something new to buy, this is not gonna be the video for you. I do not have anything new here. New-ish perhaps, but nothing new. So this is definitely not one of those ooh new flashy things types of videos. This is a what's in my collection and what might be sitting in your collection, and I'm trying to be here to remind you of what you should pull out. There are a couple things that are newer. I'm not saying that these are all like dusty old relics. But they're just things that I pulled out to be able to hopefully enjoy and remind you all to enjoy your makeup as well. This has been an interesting intro, but if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, y'all. I have like some little subcategories here, or categories. I ended up pulling out a few things that I either haven't used much or haven't used in a really long time and need to decide if I want to keep it. I have some things that are going to be some pretty easy reaches for me. And then I have a couple like random things that I honestly just pulled out to like have some color in my life. So that's going to be what we kind of get into. So let's start with the easy reaches. Now, I actually wore this palette yesterday when I thought I was going to film this video yesterday, and lifed, and it didn't happen. But I have to say that I really loved the look that I came up with. I will say that this does not have main character energy, okay? This palette does not. This is easy breezy energy, and this is the energy. The reason I wore this is because I wore one of the lipsticks in my Shop My Stash for spring. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to have it linked down below. It'll probably be after this video as well, in case you just want to like stick through the end screen. But that is a very, very bright lipstick. So I wanted something that would give a little definition, a little like polish to the eyes, because I did have some Zoom meetings to be on, but it was mostly going to be about the lips for me. So this is one of the Goss luxury eye palettes, and this is the Pearl palette. So this to me is just a spring soft easy reach palette. Now I will say, if you are into the really, really high foil, wet looking shadows like Sydney Grace Super Shimmer, this palette is not going to be for you. So you have a shimmer, and then you have what I would consider a like topper shade, or a, gosh darn it, what did Wayne call this? You know, like that, he had a name for it, but I'm not remembering it. So here you have the shimmer. It's definitely more of a satin, and this is that crystal type shade. Can't remember. Yesterday I just used the two mid-tone mattes and the shimmer, and it was easy, and it went with my bright pink lipstick, and it was just beautiful. It lasted all day. It blended out like a breeze, and it just looked great. It looked great and soft, and so I know that I'm going to be reaching for this one all spring, especially because I have pulled out quite a few bright lipsticks, some pops of color on the cheek, and I think that this is going to be a really good option to have. Now, that being said, if you don't have this palette, but you like this kind of color story, you probably have something similar in your collection already. I'm thinking like Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude. That's going to be a similar one to this. You know, there are a lot of palettes out there. If you were like me and you have any of the like Sydney Grace neutral mystery bags, you've probably gotten tones like this, but it's the I guess I would say understated luxury of this, like just in the softness of the shimmers, the little bit of sparkle, but very refined, that makes this palette something different. But you might already have a color story like this in your collection, and if you do, use that one. But I do love me some Wayne, and I need to pull this palette out a little bit more. All right, another easy reach for me, but a little bit more colorful. Now this one was sent over to me by Alter Ego. I do have a full video on this palette. This is the Sakura palette. This is duping the Natasha Denona Retro. you know, that one, the one that looks like this. So here is the thing. Are the formulas the same as Natasha's? No. Is this color story very, very similar? Absolutely. I loved every look that I've done with this. The thing that I love about this is I can go in and I can do something that is on the like the neutral tones in here, or the more like natural tones. That's what I would say. They're definitely not neutral. They're that like sandy, slightly cementy shade, but not overly gray. They're like that fawn color, you know, that fawn undertone. And then you have these nice rosy tones. And then of course you get into more of the like minty spring vibes. So definitely one that I'm going to be able to use this season. And like I said, I was very happy with it. Alter Ego has really decent prices and they do sales quite a bit too. I believe I also have a discount code. I will leave the details for that in the description box if this one is still available. Like I said, I really enjoyed this one. Okay, so another easy reach for me. And you know, here is the thing that I am finding. I have really just been enjoying easy, reliable formulas, fuss-free. Yeah, that's just it. Even if it's not like something that's like, oh, the new thing, the thing that was cool at the time, like all of these palettes that I have because I sort of like got drawn in by the hype or by the season of that brand, you know, like that was a whole time of my life. I would say probably like 2021 into 22 into 23, who knows anymore? Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, who even knows? But this is one that I've had for a long time, and it's not a brand I really hear about much anymore. Honestly, most of the time when I see this brand, it's through Ipsy anymore. But this is Violet Voss. I've talked about this palette before. This is the Holy Grail palette. This was one of their pro palettes. Listen, y'all. Everything I need, everything I like is in this palette. You have mid-tones and dark tones. You have some light tones. I have a couple highlight inner corner shades in here. I've got some yummy warm shades. We've got some rosy tones, and we have some neutrals leaning into warm, like neutral goldy. Okay, listen, it's all here. It's all here for a quick and easy grab and go. There have been a lot of mornings. There have been so many mornings where I'm like, okay, today is the day. I've got the time. I want to do like something kind of colorful. And I will open up a palette and I'm just kind of like, okay, but where am I going to go with this? Or what am I going to wear with this? Like I guess that's kind of been the thing right now, is like with my wardrobe that I've been wearing and the fact that I really just need to go through my wardrobe and figure out like what I can wear right now. But like, I'm like, okay, I either pull something out and I'm like, I just don't know where I'm going with this, or I'm like, I don't know what to wear with this. This is the opposite of that, okay? And so there are days where I'm like, listen, we're gonna phone it in and we're gonna use the Holy Grail palette. So any of these palettes, I'm pretty sure you can't get this one anymore, but I'm sure that Violet Voss has some similar color stories. I will say the Violet Voss shadows that I've tried, the palettes that I've tried, I've been very happy with them. I would say that they are a beautiful, standard, very classic, 2000s formula. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that a lot of us are starting to reach for some of those palettes, which by the way are still performing really well, but we're starting to reach for some of that because we want easy, effortless. I think especially when it comes to shimmers, like shimmers have gotten more shimmery, but they've also gotten a little bit more fussy, and I'm over the fuss right now. Like if it's super fussy, I don't want to bother with it right now. And so these are very easy. Okay, so now another easy reach palette for me when I am ready for a little color, but it's gonna have to be pink. It's gonna have to be pink, y'all. This one from Pat McGrath. So this is the Mothership Rose Decadence palette. This is a 6-pan, which comes with limitations, but sometimes that is a good thing. You know, sometimes I'm like, all right, we just want a springy little look. I have beautiful mattes in here. I have shimmers that look great. I could totally get a 1 and done out of this, a 2 and through. I could use this and then use my companion palette that I put together of singles that like help add to a little palette like this very easily. And I have not used this one in a while, so she needs some love. Great palette. Obviously it's just limited, but sometimes that is a great thing, like I said. So since we got a little pinky, should we get even a little bit more colorful? I think it's time. So this palette came to me as a gift from a beautiful makeup friend, and along with 2 of the other I cannot remember what these palettes are called, but this is the Exquisite Eyes palette. So Glaminatrix did 4 little 6 pans. This is the green color story, and I tell you, I have not used it enough, especially as a green lover. What am I doing? But this is everything I could need for this season. We've got brights, we've got some beautiful mattes. The shimmers are gonna shim. This, and I personally think that the Glaminatrix formula is relatively easy to work with and not overly fussy. So I am very excited. I haven't worn this shade yet. See what? This is gonna make me so happy. There's gonna be a day where I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna wanna feel like a makeup baddie and just have a beautiful bright look on, and this is gonna be what I wanna wear, but in a like effortless, like probably easy blurred out way, you know, like colors like this, whereas I used to wear them with like a stronger shape. It's colors like this that now I'm just wearing in a softer way, and that is gonna make me super happy. I was bummed that this shade Exquisite came smashed, so I had to smush it back in, but she's still pretty. So, by the way, if you wanna see, I did a video on how I am wearing my multi-chromes now and how I'm getting use out of things in a way that feels fresher to me. I will have that video linked down below. So Editing Kelly, remember to do that one. All right, so another palette that is in those greens, but we've also got some pinks. Shout it out if you know what it is. It's the Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyquist Hella palette. So this is one that I used it a lot for a while. I kind of put it away, and every so often I pull it back out again. But in general, I have not been touching my Odin's Eye palettes, and a lot of that is just because I feel like this shimmer in these palettes is a little fussy. Not even necessarily as much in the performance on the eye, but the performance in the pan. I just feel like so many of these get hard pan pretty quickly, and then it's harder to pick up in the pan. So that's a bummer. I think that this is the last palette that I have purchased from the brand. This might have been the last one that I've purchased, and there's just been nothing that's drawn me, and there have been a couple things that sort of like tickled my fancy, some of the holiday palettes, that kind of thing, but I'm just like, it's just never a palette of ease for me, you know, and that's what I'm looking for. But I do need to pull this one out to enjoy this color story. By the way, let me know if you have had the same thing, either with your Hella palette or with the other Odin's Eye palettes, or have they changed their shimmers up to where they aren't doing that anymore? I'm kind of out of the loop. Like I said, y'all, I was not lying. I was not lying when I said that these palettes aren't going to be like new, but I just haven't felt the need to purchase much in the realm of eyeshadow because I just have so much in all of the varieties. Now, this palette is full of color, and I think that it is going to be one that I use tipping more where spring starts to merge into summer, just because of the color story in this one. But the colors are so pretty, I really need to use this one more. It performed great when I've used it, and it's just been a while. So this is from Nomad Cosmetics. It is the Paradise Islands palette. I'm pretty sure you're not able to get this one anymore, but she's cute. She is cute, but it's a lot of, I would say, beachy vacation kind of vibes, but because there are some pastel tones in here, but it's like pastels that aren't like overly chalky and just kind of like, meh. There's enough color in here to where I don't feel like Pepto-Bismol. I don't feel like the color of the Tums, the multicolored Tums. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want something that has a little bit more to it, and I really did like this palette. It's just been a while since I brought it out, so I'll definitely be enjoying that one. All right, now we're gonna dive into some of the palettes that I either haven't used a lot of yet, or the ones that I really need to use to decide if I wanna keep them. Or it's a little bit of both. There is one in here that is a little bit of both. Okay, so this one I've only used a few times. It is actually the palette that I have on my eyes today, and it is the Danessa Myrix Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. So this one I got in my lucky bag for this year from Beautylish, and we just haven't had enough time together yet. So I have a few shades from this palette on my eyes right now. Now, obviously, I have a shimmer on today as well, and if you're curious about that one, it's one of my shades with Pretties for Your Face. It is Lovely's, and I really love the way that this look turned out. I put it on my eyes a long time ago, so we are rocking some well-aged makeup today, but it still looks pretty good in my opinion. So the thing that I like, and that is one thing I find in these palettes, is because you have, and I'm sorry, I don't know Danessa's verbiage for the formulas in here, but the more like cream to powder putty, if I lay that down first and then I go over the top with the powders, like this is gonna last all day long, all day long. I did put on an eye base. I have on the Divina Perlusion base, but like it probably would have lasted on its own. I still was kind of like not sure where I was going with my makeup when I put the eye base on, but I probably didn't need it when I threw this on. So absolutely love. I think I did, can I remember? I think I did a bit of these two and then this right here. And I think I honestly did the powders and the putty from all three shades. So we got a little bit of everything going on here, but I really am enjoying this one and I need to use this more as a face palette as well. So I haven't done that. Really need to pull this one out more. So if you have this, because I know a lot of people got it in their lucky bag this year, if you were like me and you got this one, pull it out right now. Okay, this palette was sent to me used by a friend. She was kind of like, I don't think I'm going to use this one. It's not my vibe. Would you like to try it? I was like, yes. I really haven't tried a lot from this brand. I have heard that this brand is getting rid of their bigger palettes and that kind of makes me sad. So we're talking about Huda Beauty and we're talking about the Mercury Retrograde palette. So there is something about this that, again, this is one of those, obviously, when you pull out this palette, you are going to need to wear something that's either pinky or like purpley blue. And if you know me, you know that the purpley blue isn't something that I usually lean into all that often, but these shades are very pretty. I just need to, honestly, I just need to pull this out with the purpose of using this because I've had it for so long that it's just taking up space in my drawer over here, but I have heard such great things about Huda's quality, and so I really need to give this one a go. So if you have this one, should I keep it? Is there something that I'm missing in this palette, or are you all sort of like slightly disconnected from this color story as well? Let me know. Okay, another palette that I actually really enjoy, but I just haven't used it enough, and I was so excited when I got this one. So when this one originally came out, I was oohing and awing over the packaging. The brand always kills it with this packaging. And I have been lucky enough to receive PR from this brand. And at one point, the owner and I were talking, and I just mentioned, like, is there any way that I could get the Geodes palette? Of course, I'm talking about What's Up Beauty. And so I was very excited to get my hands on this one because I just think it's so pretty. First of all, the packaging is just so cute. It's just so pretty. And I love the color story inside as well. So the thing about this is another one where I have to be in my cool tone moment because all of the mattes in here, other than the like yellow, are going to be on the cool tone side. On the skin, they lean very much into that like grayish, pinky gray beige kind of vibe. Oh, I guess this green, but again, that's like a cool toned olive. So got to be in the cool tones. The thing is like these shimmers are so, they're so soft and understated. So while it is a colorful palette and there is some beautiful like shimmer and shine to these, it's the perfect palette when you want a little color on the eye, but you don't want it to like be like, you know, like that. I hope that facial expression told you what I mean. But you know, it's like, oh, I've got color on, but it's going to be in a softer way, which I think is like the key vibe for this spring. And so I need to pull this one out more and really use it. I could see myself though using this palette with some shades in my companion palette just because I think I could use these shimmers even if I'm not feeling the vibes of the mattes at the time because they are a little bit on the cooler side. I do find that for me, like, okay, the yellow I get kind of because it could go with this like sort of turquoise and the yellow, obviously. The olive, I don't understand when I would ever wear the olive. I mean, I guess I would wear it with the purple, but this one, see, this is exactly it because if I'm pulling out this palette and I'm like, this is what's going through my head at the time. And then I just go, okay, I can't right now. And then I close the palette, but it's so pretty. I just need to learn how I'm going to enjoy using it. I also love the size of these What's Up Beauty palettes because they have a lot in them in a small size. And I really appreciate that. I mean, let's face it, y'all. We don't need pans that are like this size. Who needs that? No one needs that. No one needs that. So I am very happy with a small palette that packs a big punch. I just need to throw the punches. Okay, one more and then technically what I would call an honorable mention. So this palette, I have not used this palette in a very long time. I This palette, I was so excited when I got it. I loved the creator that is in collaboration with this, and I was just like, I was so excited. I've gotten a lot of fun makeup looks out of this, but I haven't touched it in a long time, and I need to decide if I just need to like let it go. I think I'm over keeping things for nostalgia's sake. It just isn't serving me. So the So Jaded palette from ColourPop and Kathleen Lights. I have some really good memories with this one. Like I said, when I bought it, I was super excited to receive it. And while I really don't purchase from ColourPop anymore, I really did enjoy this palette. I honestly cannot even remember the last time I used one of my ColourPop palettes. I cannot. I think this fall I pulled out my, you know, the one with the witches. I got one of them because I didn't get it the first time, and then it came back, and then it left, and then it came back, and I had FOMO, and it's a cute fall color story, and I like that palette, but certainly it hasn't been life-changing. But this palette I had so much fun with. I also, in my early days of doing YouTube, when we were on the other side of the property and I was filming in the basement, I did a like little challenge with this palette where I picked a few shades to create a look and Jeremy picked a few shades and I created a look. So that was a really fun video. If I can dig that one up, I will have it linked here for you so you can check that one out. Also, if you want to see me back in the basement days. Okay, so this palette, it's pretty, right? It's colorful. You have all the things. Looking here though, when I look at this palette, I don't really see anything that I don't have somewhere else in my collection. And I really need to test the quality of this. Of course, you know that I love shades like this. Like this makes me think of like Makeup Geek Jester. I think I have a similar-ish shade from Sydney Grace. I mean, they're really, I do remember actually liking, I know that everybody gets scared of these like sparkle formulas. I've really had some fun with some of those. So we'll see, we'll see. Like it is this interesting mix of colorful and earthy, and that's my vibe sometimes. Like I also think that this, I mean, if you have this one, I think that this could be a fun fall palette because it does get a little bit more earthy. So maybe if I use this enough to enjoy it, I will pull it back out in the fall. And if I'm still vibing on it, I will maybe keep it. But if I try it this spring and the quality is just like subpar and it doesn't bring me joy, I'll probably like let go of it already. Honestly, I need to do another palette declutter video. Like I really need to do one very soon. So I do think that probably this summer at some point, I will try to do a little palette declutter, and who knows, maybe this one's gonna be on the chopping block then. All right, so now the honorary mention, and why I'm calling it that is because this really isn't a palette that has ever existed. This is my Bloom Reimagined. I did this palette, I painted this cover because I know Natasha painted her cover with watercolor as well. So this is sort of like, if Natasha and I were to create the palette together, or if I were to create what I sort of would have hoped that Natasha would create, this is my palette. So it's a little bit inspired by it with a little extra. I do have a full video on this with swatches, all of the shades and everything. This is one that I think is just going to be so key for the season, and I really enjoyed putting this one together, and I have just had fun with it. But I think when I created it and I used it for a few weeks, and now it's sort of like dropped off my radar. So it's time to pull this one back out, and I'm gonna keep using this for a while. All right, lovelies, this has been a fun trip down the memory lane of my palette drawers over here. Like I said, I wanted to pull out some things that if you have them in your collection that you should use this season. A couple of these are available, a couple of them probably aren't, but I do think a few of these have color stories that are like, you know, interchangeable with other palettes in our collections, right? So this is really, for me, these videos are about like sort of inspiration. I mean, I have had times that I've been talking to a friend about, you know, whatever it might be, and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to pull that out. Thank you for reminding me of that. So hopefully I am doing that for you today. On that note, let's sort of like reciprocate. So you can tell me down below the palette that's in your collection that you are going to be using this spring, because maybe I have it and I've forgotten about it too. All right, lovelies, if you did enjoy this, please don't forget to give it a like on your way out. It really does help me out. I am trying, y'all. I am still posting and I'm still trying, but it's been It's been a struggle. So just know that your engagement absolutely helps out on these videos and any other creator. So if you enjoy watching a creator, take the time to hit the like. It really does help us all out. All right, lovelies, that's gonna be it. Getting off my little like soapbox, my begging box, whatever it might be. Like I said, boy, the intro and the outro of this one are both memorable and maybe not for the right reasons. All right, lovelies, that's it. I'm leaving. I will see you really soon. All right, it is not a palette picks video if you don't do the cliche, hold up all the palettes, try not to drop any of your makeup that you love.